Hey everybody, Christina Wyatt here, your girl next door financial guide. Today I want to introduce you to a special guest that we have on our channel, Jim Pomeroy, a local real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Super City Realty here in Nova Scotia. Today Jim is going to give us a breakdown of the cash needed on hand to close a real estate deal. So a lot of people think that your down payment is going to cover everything moving into your home, but that's just not the case. And as always, we want you to be fully prepared financially, so we're going to dig into some of these additional expenses and closing costs today. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Awesome. Thank you, Christina, for introducing me. As you said, my name is Jim Pomeroy. I am a local realtor here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, with Coldwell Banker Super City Realty. A little bit about myself. I am an avid outdoor enthusiast, whether it's playing ultimate frisbee, going mountain biking, going camping. But the other passion that I have is helping people reach their goals. And today I am happy to answer your questions so you can reach your financial goals as well as purchase your first home.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, Jim. I'm excited for us to discuss these costs and expenses that come up for first-time home buyers. So let's get into that right away. So from your experience, what does someone need to have on hand for cash when purchasing a home?
Yeah, so what first-time home buyers or anybody buying a home needs to have is first they need to sit with their mortgage specialist, their financial planner to figure out a down payment and what their budget is for that house. That will dictate the percentage that they'll need to put down in order to get their home. It's not only just a down payment that you need though, and a lot of people don't realize that there are some closing costs, so costs that can happen in between making that offer and to getting your keys, which would be pre-closing, what you need on the day of close to submit, and then what would you need post-closing in order to get your house the way that you like it.
All right, well, let's dig a bit deeper into these costs that you just went through. So the first one you said was pre-closing costs. What would those entail?
Yeah, so pre-closing is the time when you make your offer and then when you go firm. So you might put some conditions on there. And conditions can be things like getting an inspector to inspect the home. So you could be anywhere between about $400, $500, maybe upwards of $700 for an inspector. You would also need to call on a lawyer to do a review, and then any other specialists that you need to get in there. So they might have to do sewer lateral scope, they may want to do a radon test, or anything that you need to pay to make sure you're comfortable with the home. That can range and vary on whoever you get for your professional.
That's great. So good to know about the pre-closing costs, because I definitely think that there's something not talked about enough. Closing costs, this one we're a little bit more familiar with, but why don't you give us a breakdown of these as well?
Absolutely. So closing costs is the cash that you need on hand in order to close your deal and get your keys. So this could be due just prior to closing or on day of close. So what you'll do is sit with your lawyer to decide what is needed to complete the deal. They'll let you know things like adjustments that need to happen. So that could be taxes that have been paid, maybe somebody's topped up the oil tank and you're paying the difference, or anything that might be popping up that you need to do minor adjustments on what have been paid for before, but you would take over in that cost. The next would be any of your fees that you need to pay out. So that could be your lawyer fees. It might mean that you pay an appraiser to do the bank side of things, and any mortgage fees like applications, administrative fees, and things like that. So you want to ask whoever you're dealing with up front, what fees are they going to charge you and when did they happen, so you can best plan, is that going to be needed prior to closing, during close, or after?
Okay, so that's great to know about the closing costs, and it sounds like it's very important to have a good team on your side as well that you can work with. So the last one that you mentioned, and I don't think people talk about it near enough, is the post-closing costs or moving in costs that you might forget about. Can you give us a breakdown on those?
Absolutely. So the post-closing costs that you need is when you go through the home, you're going to start seeing things that you need to do. So it might be that you see a bedroom that's like a beautiful lime green that you want to change to maybe an off eggshell white. So you want to figure out how much it's going to cost for that paint. Is there minor repairs that you need to be having to complete? Did you want to put maybe a deck on the back of your house? What are those things? And you want to put those together, and what's most important to you to get done right when you move in, and then maybe what can be done in the future, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, so you can plan for that as well. And it's always important to have a rainy day fund. Anything can happen with a house, and you never know when you might need a little bit of cash to get that major repair done. So I highly recommend that you do have some on hand as well if you're going into this.
Very good points. Might want to keep the neon lime wall though, maybe. So going through all those different types of costs, we've gone through the pre-closing costs, closing costs, and post-closing costs. But are there any other hidden costs that buyers should be aware of up front before going into purchasing their first home?
The answer is yes. There's always going to be unexpected or hidden costs when it comes to home ownership. How to best prepare for it is to make sure you ask the right questions. So you want to talk to your lawyer. You want to make sure that you've got all the adjustments figured out, so oil or taxes or any other adjustment that needs to happen. The other thing to think about is, what are those account activation fees? So if you're setting up your internet, if you're setting up power, if you're setting up any type of an account, they may charge you a fee to set that up outside of the monthly fees. So when you are trying to set up those accounts, ask those questions so you're best prepared as well. And then really overlook the house. Make sure that you're best prepared when you go through your inspections, making a list and a detailed list of what needs to be done today, what can be done tomorrow, and what can be done long term.
This is some great information, Jim. I love transparency and knowing all these details ahead of time so we can prepare for them in our cash flow plans and our finances. That's great. So last question for you. How much do you think someone will need to have on hand in order to close the deal? We've gone through all these things, but what total are they going to have in hand to be able to get this?
Great question. It will be dependent on the type of house that you buy. So whatever the asking price is or your offer price will be is what's going to dictate how much cash on hand you need, because you will need a percentage for that down payment, as little as 5% or as much as 20%. The next thing you need to do your due diligence is to interview the experts that you're going to use prior to and get all of their fees up front so that you know how much they cost. You can build out that cash flow or that budget with your financial planner, and you can make some good estimates to the area that you're in to talk to those local experts to get you your best budget moving forward and how much cash you need on hand.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Jim, and thanks for those great tips. They were very useful. For everybody watching out there today, please share below in the comments any hidden or unexpected costs that you might have encountered when purchasing a home. As always, please like, subscribe, and follow our channel so you can hear more from your Girl Next Door Financial Guide. Thanks so much.